Hello, everyone. Welcome to the support Q&A webinar. Today, we're putting on a webinar to answer some customer questions, some common queries that we are often presented with. So hopefully you'll find it useful. Myself, I'm Matt. I'm the UK Customer Success Manager here at Nexudus, and I'm joined today by my colleague, Chris. Chris, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Chris. I'm one of the senior support engineers here at Nexudus, and I'll be assisting Matt with answering some of the questions that have been submitted to us today.
So as Chris mentioned, we've already had a few questions in advance of the webinar, but if you have any during the webinar, then please submit them. You can submit them in the Q&A section of Zoom. Don't put it in the chat because we won't have visibility of that. So put it in the Q&A section, please. Um, and in terms of general webinar housekeeping, we're going to try and keep this fairly swift to about 30 minutes. And it will be recorded as well, so you'll get a copy of it after the webinar is concluded. Probably a good point to mention also that our YouTube channel, our Nexus YouTube channel, has a number of other webinars on there too, and I'll make reference to that later when appropriate. But you will receive a copy of this one directly to your email at some point afterwards. Cool. All right. So I think we should get started with some of the questions we've already got. So the first question here, is there an interface to allow individual meeting rooms to pull their schedule from Nexus and display it on a tablet? So I'll take this one. The answer is yes. We have a companion app for tablets called Nextboard, and there's a number of features on that companion app. So we'd encourage you to have a look at that. That might fit what you're looking for. And we're also due to release a new version of this soon. So we're currently doing beta testing with customers around this. So if that's something you'd be interested in, then feel free to get in touch with the customer success team, which is success@nexus.com, and we'll put you in touch with the product team. Cool. Question number two. Would it be possible to improve the layout of the invoices? It becomes quite confusing when prorating is involved. So again, I'll take this one. First and foremost, that's obviously a bit of feedback and we're always keen to hear feedback from customers, whether it's good or bad. It helps shape the platform and helps us improve everything. So if you could drop us a message to support@nexus.com, then we'll try and help you out, see if there's anything possible, and if it's just feedback, we'll take that on board. Cool. Next question. Uploading invoices from other software to Nexudus. So, Chris, you can probably take this one. Yeah, I'll hand over to
Yeah,
you.
sure. So there's a couple of ways really. So uploading invoices from Nexus can be done via our imports feature. So if you already have invoices that you have um, from another system or from another kind of encounter integration that you have, one way to upload them to Nexus is to go to settings, then go to the import section under data management here, and then selecting from the list of options invoices. Other items, as you can see, can be imported here, but we're going to select invoices. You can then download a template, which will download an Excel file of what's required to be completed in the invoice template file. Once these details have been completed, you can then just select the file from the upload section. There'll be a preview window showing you the data and the validation of the data. So if there's anything missing or needs to be updated, that will be communicated there, and then you can import the data. So this is one way. If you're integrating with account integrations like Xero or QuickBooks, then you can transfer invoices or synchronize invoices between systems, as these are two-way integrations that we have with those particular platforms.
Nice one. Thanks, Chris. Next question. How can I create a statement for a particular date? Currently, when you create a statement, it gives you all the detail from the start of the client account. Chris, you want to take this one?
Yeah, of course. So currently, there isn't a way to create a statement for a particular time frame. When you click the option to generate statement, so if I can demonstrate what that looks like, so go to the three dots on the customer profile, after going to operations members and contacts, we have an option here to create statement. This will create a kind of lifetime statement of all the transactions and invoice history for the customer. There isn't a way to time frame this. You would have to instead utilize some of our reporting features, or an alternative is to export the customer's invoice history or ledger history and refine the details from within that section.
Perfect. I think also it'd be a good idea if you could show the app section in the admin panel.
Yep, absolutely. So you can find that by going to settings, then companion apps. And here we have each of our companion apps in a separate tab. So Nextboard can be found on the third tab. This is the application we mentioned earlier in regards to resource displays.
Nice one. Cool. Next question. I want to expand on membership and have various tiers, looking for suggestions on how to maximize the use of Nexus to do that. So I'll take this one. Our implementation team are probably the best people to speak with about this, especially when it comes to setting up different membership structures. So you can reach out to them directly via implementation@nexus.com, and they can book a call in with yourselves and discuss your requirements and offer some advice around that. So yeah, I'd encourage you to do that. Next question. Key Nexus contract features that you should leverage, contract renewals, and simplifying that process in Nexudus. So Chris, yeah, do you want to show this one and maybe touch on things like price scheduling, contract
Mm-hmm.
freezing, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so I think one thing just to say right off the bat is there's quite a lot of specificity, if I can even say the word, in regards to this, down to like your individual ways of managing your space. So what I can show you is just a few ways that we have in Nexus to kind of leverage some of these options. So if I look at one of my contracts, if I go to operations, members and contacts, this is just one way to navigate to contracts to start with. I just want to see the customer name first, so I'm going to go to sales, contracts. I'm just going to click on the most recent contract they have here. So when it comes to renewals, contracts renew on their billing date. That's also known as the renewal date. But you can make some changes to the next plan feature. So they're upgrading or changing plans and you have different plans configured in your system. You can use the next plan feature to select the next plan that they'll be moving to. What this will do is when the contract renews next, so on the customer's next billing day, their contract will change to the next contract selected. Another feature here, just to make note of in terms of managing memberships, is the freeze option here. What the plan freezing or contract freezing option does allows admins and customers to freeze their contract for a number of billing cycles without actually canceling the contract. So this can be controlled from the back end, as we say on the admin panel. And if the configuration has been enabled for it, customers can also control that as well. Another feature that is relatively new, I think it may be out for quite a while now, but it's still something that I think could be utilized a lot more by a number of our customers, is the price schedule. So this allows you to enter a price for a given period for the customer. So for example, in this particular contract, if I want the next invoice period, it looks like September has not been invoiced on this contract yet, I can change this price to be more or less than I wanted to. And we can do this for any number of months in advance. As you can see here, I can just keep adding them. And then once these cycles have passed, the pricing will revert back to the original contract price. So those are just a couple of ways you can do this. As I said, there's quite a lot of specificity, if that's even a word. If you do have questions like that, I would just advise you reach out to support. We can guide you through some more bespoke uses of this and provide advice accordingly.
Cool. Nice one. I saw a quick comment in the chat as well, just asking if this would be recorded. Yeah, it will be. It'll be sent to your email addresses after the webinar is concluded at some point. So yeah, you'll get a copy. Next question. what are some of the new features of the portal? I'm assuming this might mean the members portal rather than the admin panel, but regardless, our product team runs focus group sessions with customers who are keen to give feedback and see upcoming features before they're released. We're doing it. The next session is happening on the 3rd of December. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then I'd encourage you to reach out to the product team directly, which is product@nexus.com. They're always happy to take feedback on, and it also gives you an insight into what's upcoming with the platform as well. And this particular session is for an upcoming new version of the members portal, which carries some quite significant and exciting changes. So yeah, encourage any customers who are keen to get involved with that sort of stuff to reach out to product@nexus.com. Next question. How how do you set roles so that not every administrator can access everything? So yeah, we can show that. Chris, do you want
Yeah,
to have a look
absolutely.
at
Yeah,
yeah,
we're
role templates?
rattling through these questions. Obviously, we want to get through as many questions as possible. So the place you want to go is you want to go to settings and then roles. And here in this demo space, we just have a couple of predefined roles already, which is admin and read only. So typically what these are used for are when you want to create a role for someone, but you don't want to give them full unrestricted access. You just want to kind of limit what they have access to. So we've already have sub-permission templates or role templates here that you can just use right off the bat. So dashboard or just read-only permissions or a reception role. You can kind of see the descriptions here, what kind of permissions and access they grant. If you want to be even more granular with this and be very specific, you can show the advanced settings, which will show you once it loads is all of the settings, whether the customers in the role or sorry, the users in the role can list, read, create, change, delete, etc. All of these items. If you want a more detailed explanation as to what each of these permissions does, we do have a very comprehensive guide on our knowledge base. And if you need any help, obviously, as I keep stressing, just reach out to support at Nexudus. We can help guide you through which certain permissions would be the most beneficial.
Cool.
Once you've done that, all you need to do to assign the role is you can just do it straight from the role page here, just by clicking users in this role and then adding them accordingly. Or you can do it from the users page. I'll just quickly show you that by going to settings, users, locating the user. So go to Linda Coleman. Under the access tab, we have the roles section. And here you can see the toggle for full unrestricted administrator. This is obviously the toggle you do not want to use when you're assigning a role in this particular example. But yeah, I think that answers that question. If you want to move on to the next question, Matt.
Yep, no worries. Um, Next question on the Teams menu options, so the three dot button, can we have the option to email the team? So this isn't possible at the minute, but sounds like a pretty good feature request. So I will pass this on to the design team. I'll raise it, and they will consider it. So yeah, I will put that through. Next question. Can we add or remove fields from the member sign up flow? So Chris, I might pass this one to you, but I'll start with by saying we're doing beta testing, as I mentioned before, all around the new version of the members portal, and this will include the checkout process as well. So I definitely encourage whoever you are who submitted this to speak to product@nexus.com, and we'll have more information on this as we get nearer the release date of that new members portal.
Yeah, I think I can show a few settings that you can change to the sign up process. But as Matt said, there is a lot of change in this area. So very much worth signing up to any kind of like product showcases coming up in regards to that. But just for the moment, I can show you how to amend certain sections of the sign up page. So within settings again, if we go to modules, and then we have the sign up page here, which just has just various sign up options. This won't include forms. What we need to do for forms specifically is go to website, then forms. And here, this controls the optional fields or hidden fields or required fields for each sign up form here. So we have the contact details form, the billing details form, and we have more that we can enable, such as the profile details form. As you can see, you can just toggle which items you'd like to be required, which ones you'd like to be hidden. All of these can be like toggled on and off, and they do affect the sign up form. So currently this is the way to manage it, but as we've said, there's quite comprehensive changes coming here
Yeah.
in the upcoming few upcoming releases. I'm not sure if we have a specific date for that yet, but that's just something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, exactly. And there is actually a preview video on our YouTube channel for this whole checkout area. So I encourage you to have a look at that. If you just type in Nexus on YouTube, you'll find our channel. And yeah, there'll be a video on there with a bit more information. Cool. Moving on. What is the best way to handle leads that come in over the phone after hours when they don't provide an email address? Is there a way to enter this customer as an opportunity without entering an email address? Chris, you want to take this one?
Yeah, of course. So if you go to the CRM section and then navigate over to opportunities, and I'm just going to add a new opportunity. This is quite, I would use one of the existing ones. Actually, no, let's create an entirely new opportunity. Let's back out of this. So I'm just going to enter my own name here. My name is not Chris Nexudus, but that's what I'm just going to use. So then it comes up with this box to add a customer. You can see the email box does come up, but I can just click this to say I don't yet have an email address for that customer, and then add customer. And it will allow me to continue to add the opportunity to a stage. In this particular demo space, I don't currently have any CRM boards configured, but this is how you do it. You would select your CRM board and then the stage that you'd want to add them to. I can already see the next question is related to the same section. So if it's okay, Matt, I'll just run with the next question,
Sure.
which is how can I automate a thank you message upon completion of a booking? And I think the most appropriate item or the most appropriate section here is the reminders section. So if you click into reminders and then I click add reminder, I'm just going to call this completed booking, call it whatever you like, and then when to trigger this reminder after a booking. Or if I want to be even more specific, I can select the resource that I'd like it to apply to. So if I only wanted the particular message to be sent to customers who booked the Red meeting room, I can just select that resource. How to deliver this reminder? You can send a survey, send an alert from Nexudus, or send a message macro with your own content. If you've configured a message macro, which is a different section of the platform where you can design your own message macro, again, any questions on this, just please reach out to support at Nexudus. We can guide you through that. We also have some very useful guides on our knowledge base in regards to message macros. But this is a message with your own content, which you can then send to customers who've recently booked your space. So this, I think, pretty much essentially answers that question in regards to sending a personalized message after completing booking. But yeah, I just thought I'd jump in and answer that one because I saw that one was coming up next and I was already in the CRM section. So I'll hand back over to you.
All good. Thank you for that. Next question we've got. Unlike Nextboard's capability to show a specific resource's schedule, is there a different interface that would allow a computer to show the daily schedule for all resources? Yeah, I'm not sure about this one, Chris. Do you have anything to chime in on that one?
Sorry, I'm going to read the question again. Unlike the Nextboard capability to show specific schedule, is there a different interface that would
I'm guessing
all a
so.
computer? I don't think there is. I think I know what they're. Um,
Yeah, I don't think it's possible at the minute.
the
I've had a
members portal
similar.
itself has a calendar on that. So if you were to have a customer log into the computer and show the calendar within the members portal, that would show you availability for all resources. So that's something that kind of already exists, but specifically for this, it's not really something I think that's possible at the moment.
No, yeah, it might be one that we put through as a feature request.
Yeah,
I mean, there's obviously a lot that's possible with the API. If you have web development knowledge or you have access to a web developer, it's difficult to say with this specific request whether that's possible. It might be something that if you have the resources, you could explore that. But otherwise, I'll put this through as a feature request for internally, and the team can review whether we can potentially do something along these lines. Cool. Is there a way to allow members to switch rooms after a booking has been made? Do you want to take this one, Chris?
sure. So the short answer is there isn't currently. It is possible to do so from the members portal. So once a customer has placed a booking, I think considerations with this are if the customer has purchased or placed a booking for a resource and then they want to change it afterwards, if the rate for the new resource is different, so the pricing is different, then there is a potential for the price being different, more expensive or less expensive. So generally, what we kind of recommend is rather than trying to change the location, is probably just to cancel and place the booking again, maybe as an administrator to do this, just to be sure that everything is configured properly. Because what you can then do is just credit the previous booking and then apply that credit amount to the new booking to cover the costs. Um, but if the resources are the same, then it is quite straightforward. Also, if the rates are the same, there is no price difference, then it is quite straightforward. You can just, you would still need to cancel the booking from the back end and then update the resource in the resource field. I would take a look, see if there's any listed here, but I don't think there's any bookings at the moment. But that's all you would need to do if the pricing are the same. So this one, for example, which has been invoiced, is fine. So I'll just quickly show you. So you would just remove the charges, handle the invoice later, change the resource, and then charge the booking once more. So hopefully that answers that question. I think it does. But again, any general questions or anything more specific than that that doesn't seem to be working as intended or doesn't seem to answer that particular query, then I'd say just reach out to support at Nexudus, and we should be able to assist with that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's probably a good point for me to mention. Anything that we've covered today, we're obviously trying to cover everything at a relatively high level, to avoid going into individual spaces for data protection purposes, but also so we can get through as many questions as we can. So if we've not dealt with something in an adequate level of detail and you need a bit more, just ping it to support@nexus.com and the team can help. We had a few general questions on both the virtual office side of things and also the new floor plan editor as well. With both of those, we've actually got quite comprehensive webinars that we've previously done on both those topics. So I'd encourage you to go on our YouTube channel and have a look at them. The floor plan one was one I helped lead alongside one of my colleagues a few months ago, and that has a whole tutorial in it. So definitely have a look at that. And the same with the virtual office side of things as well. One of our product team members ran through that in quite a level of detail. So have a look at those two. And again, if you need more information after that, please feel free to get in touch. Um, we had a question here as well around the difference between team accounts and member accounts. So yeah, Chris, I don't know if you want to give some clarity on that.
Yeah, so team account, a member account, I think I understand the question. I'll try and answer it in the best way that I can. So I'm just going to talk briefly about the difference between what we call a company account and an individual account. So when I create a customer here, I can select whether I'd like the customer type to be an individual or a company. So I think this is what the question is asking in terms of what's the difference, but I will mention teams just briefly. So first of all, a company account is an account which you assign a company name, an email, and importantly, a primary contact. And the benefit or the use case of this kind of profile type is to allow this profile to be inherited by someone else. So typically, in a team structure, you would make this account the team paying member. Therefore, all invoices, all charges come through to this particular customer profile. You can assign it a primary contact who can also be a member of that team. And the benefit here is if this primary contact leaves or the ownership needs to change for whatever reason, you keep a consistent record of all invoices because then all you need to do is just update the primary contact um, and the email address if needed. That's not necessarily something that you need to update if that email address is not changing, and you retain all the information. With an individual account, the difference here is simply that this profile will be owned by one person, essentially. So you have a full name and an email address for this individual. So that is, I think, what they're asking in terms of the difference between a team account and a member account. If that isn't the answer, then I will answer the difference between what being in a team means versus not being in a team. And the answer to that is nothing if a team does not have merged billing enabled. So for some teams, so if I correct, very quick one here, just so I can demonstrate what I'm talking about live. So imaginatively named in Nexudus. So right now I just have a team with no members. That's fine. I can add a member if I want. But the billing section is really the important part here. Teams are essentially a way to just group customers together. And the primary benefit of the team is the merge billing feature where you can designate a team paying customer and they are responsible for all invoices generated for the team in terms of paying those invoices and retaining the record of all of those invoices under their profile. This is why in the previous section, it's worth probably assigning this to a company profile, since this doesn't run the risk of you losing any data if the team paying customer was changed. Because say, for example, it was assigned to me specifically, and I was to change team, or I was to leave the business, or whatever the case may be, all of those details are under my profile, which if I'm leaving and I want my profile removed, that could be a potential issue, which is, again, why company profiles are recommended when creating a team in this way. But I think that answers the question from both directions. If not, feel free to drop an email to support at Nexus and reference the Q&A, and we will try to, well, we'll know what you're talking about because we'll have the recording. We can respond to you directly on that. But I think that answers that particular question.
Cool. Thanks, Chris. I think in the interest of time, because we're going to try and keep this to half an hour, I'll just make a comment on a few questions we had around accounting integrations, because we had a couple on specific systems. So yeah, we integrate with a number of different accounting systems, and it's best to refer to the knowledge base for information on how to set these up and how they operate, whether they're one-way or two-way, those sorts of details as well. And then obviously, if you run into any issues or you need some additional help in setting them up or things aren't working as intended, then support at nexus.com. The team will help you out. Well, thanks everyone for joining. Appreciate you taking some time out of your afternoon or morning, wherever you are, to listen to me and Chris. Hopefully, it's been helpful. We've been able to answer a few of your questions. Just a reminder, I mentioned it earlier, but our YouTube channel has other previously recorded webinars on there, and it's just a useful place in general for content on the platform. So I'd encourage you to check that out. And I appreciate it sounding a bit like a broken record here, but any queries that haven't been answered today or any issues you run into with the platform, please email support@nexus.com and the team will jump on and help you out with them. But yeah, I think for now we'll end it here. Thanks for joining, and yeah, have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.